Like, look, we're just so excited. We're just babbling like crazy people, everybody. Gold Derby, this is the non-in-house editors Slugfest reacts to the Emmy nominations, this sumptuous feast that we just devoured. And it's one of the best mornings of the year. And I have Amanda Spears, Tony Ruiz, and Zach Laws with me. And look, the first thing I want to say, because I'm selfish, I'm just going to have the first say, is I think there are three main takeaways about this year's nominations. Saturday Night Live and Westworld really, really killed it. And Westworld surprised me. It did better than expected. And I think we can make an argument for what's going to win the top three categories. I'm just going to throw this out. And then I'm going to ask you all, firstly, what your favorite or best parts of the nominations were. I think Handmaids, I think Veep, and I think The Night Of, or maybe Feud. Okay, so I'm going to Zach first because he's just chopping at the bit and he was the first one to arrive. Zach, go.
Well, Rob, I totally agree with you. I think I've been saying this for months now, it feels like, and now I finally have something to back me up. The Handmaid's Tale is the front runner to win Best Drama Series. I mean, it has so much going for it. I know it's got half the nominations that Westworld has. I know it has less nominations than Stranger Things has. But it overperformed in a lot of categories, like acting, with 2 nominations, not just for Ann Dowd, but for Samira Wiley as well. 2 nominations in directing, a nomination in writing. Most importantly of all, this show has a relevancy about it that the other shows nominated just don't have. It is a giant middle finger to Donald Trump's America, and most of the other shows that are nominated exist in a world where Hillary Clinton became the president. So I think that as voters are marking off their ballots, they're going to look for the show that makes the biggest statement about the world that we live in today, and that show is going to be The Handmaid's Tale. Veep, with 17 nominations, I think we have to say that's the front runner to win Best Comedy Series again, although I think that the new kid on the block, Atlanta, still has a shot in here. I know it didn't get in for Brian Tyree Henry, but it still did get in for writing and directing. I think it's at least going to win for directing, where it's nominated just for Donald Glover. And The Night Of overperformed as well with that nomination for Bill Camp. I think that's still kind of a toss-up between that and Big Little Lies and one of the FX shows. But it is really, it's a strong contender with nominations for writing and directing as well. So this is a really exciting Emmy nominations morning.
It totally is. Now, Amanda, I'm going to leave you to best to last, okay? So just hold on for a bit.
I'll be quiet.
Tony.
I think he's a little nuts, but
of course, Tony, you are also the best. Now, tell us your instant reactions.
I think Zach's right on. I think this just became a contest between Stranger Things and The Handmaid's Tale. I think those are the two that are most likely to win. I was over the moon about David Harbour getting nominated. I was over the moon about Millie Bobby Brown because there were, some concerns that she wouldn't get in. I had her in, so I'm glad I kept her. But The Handmaid's Tale, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Samira Wiley, nobody saw that one coming. We hoped, we prayed, but we really didn't see it coming. And Ann Dowd getting not just 1, but 2 acting nominations. Yay. So I think this will be, I think Westworld is a much bigger contender than we originally thought it would be. But I don't think that it has the popular appeal of something like Stranger Things, nor does it probably have the gravity of something like The Handmaid's Tale. And so I think the one thing that we can go back and say is This Is Us. You guys kind of shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
This group of 4, we saw it coming.
Listen, we already said we've gone over this. Amanda, please tell us. Go.
Someone at NBC needs to be fired. Like, whomever did this, they have only themselves to blame because they got casting. They got a couple tech nominations. If they had that writing and directing, I would tell you right now they would possibly be the front runner.
They got Milo Ventimiglia, for God's sake. Like, wow, that's so
Poor Mandy Moore. I feel bad for Mandy Moore because I think he was probably the one who out of the two. But I love Gilmore Girls, so like my
I
favorite
know.
like couple from Gilmore Girls both got Emmy nominations.
So good.
And I am begging you, Emmy producers, please. You've never freaking nominated that show. Just have those two present together. Make me happy for once in my GD. Because you never do Jeffrey Tambor and Tony Hale. So can you just give me something? Like, sorry.
Something to hold on to.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
yeah.
My only problem with predicting The Handmaid's Tale is for the past 5 years and further back 9 years at least, you have to be nominated in the editing category to win Best Drama Series.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 5 winners of drama series have won editing. So that leaves us to 3 shows that could. Better Call Saul, who somehow pulled off a miracle and got into drama, writing, and directing with all of their nominations. This Is Us, don't follow that. They aired right before nominations. Don't think it'll happen eventually. But that leaves Better Call Saul, Stranger Things, and The Westworld as the on-paper ones with all the boxes you need to check to be nominated. And Westworld didn't just overperform; they
Killed it.
I was like, whoa! They got Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah. Even Rachel Wood.
As soon as I saw Anthony Hopkins,
Winona Ryder.
Yeah. We need to
I
go.
don't
as soon as I saw Anthony Hopkins' name, I was like, "Oh God, Westworld's going to get him now."
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
Winona Ryder next year will probably be bumped up to lead because she's probably not going to stick around in that category.
I feel bad for her. I think that was one of the conspicuous absentees or snubs if we have to go down that road. I don't think it was
on the comedy side. I think it's Veep by default. Atlanta has no below the line nominations. If Master of None had a directing nomination, I would be tempted to pick it because it got another acting nomination. It got the below the line support that it didn't have last year.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the now or never moment for Anna Klumsky and Hugh Laurie. If you cannot win these categories this year with multiple nominees from the same shows in each of your categories, you're not going to win, especially for Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, I think in that supporting actors, comedy supporting actors category, I think the best thing that happened to Anna Klumsky was when Katherine Hahn came out of nowhere and got a nomination.
Mm.
I think there was some residual goodwill for I Love Dick in there too,
Yes.
which I was really hoping she'd get nominated for. I just want to say, like, not just to brag a little bit. I predicted that Rami Malek would get snubbed for Mr. Robot. In fact, I just changed that.
I predicted Transparent wasn't going to get nominated on the comedy side.
So we both got a little bit of bragging rights right here, but you know.
There you go. I've got a few as well, but I'm not going to go down that road. Like I think that's.
And Tina Fey got nominated for song. I mean, Rachel Bloom is really going to be pissed if she loses song this year to Tina Fey for Kimmy's Roommate Lemonades. Hell no! Like, I think it's the big one where he walks down there in the Beyonce yellow dress.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And if there were anyone watching these tapes, he would win that Emmy. They would already have his name engraved on it because he so deserves it.
I'm still sticking with my buddy Louis Anderson, and I'm hoping that he agrees. Can we talk about
depending on what he submits?
But the night of overperformed.
Yeah, last week we talked about that. If Bill Camp makes it in, we need to watch out. We talked about This Is Us. I think you guys were very perceptive about some of these little clues that we needed to look out for. And so that's really cool. But without thinking about our predictions, because they're so fantastic, let's just talk about, I'm going to go to each of you in the same order. What is what do you think the best thing, what was the one thing where you just kind of put your hands in the air like you don't care? Go, Zach.
Well, I was really happy that Pamela Adlon got nominated for Better Things. It's a really terrific show, and I was just kind of worried that she was going to get sort of lost in the shuffle of all the new shows, but she was able to beat out lots of new contenders like Katherine Hahn, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag, like Issa Rae for Insecure. All of those really deserving nominees. So I'm glad that she was able to get in there for that show. It's really terrific. It's something that she writes and directs as well, and happy for her.
And Tony?
I've got kind of a tie between two. Michael Kenneth Williams from The Night of. I loved that he actually got in. And Jane Fonda. I'm a huge Grace and Frankie fan, and I thought she was really snubbed last season, and so I'm really glad that they included her this year.
And Amanda.
Ann Dowd and Alexis
God.
Bledel. Oh my God. I'm the biggest Gilmore Girls fan. Me and Daniel Montgomery are the ones who did all those Gilmore Girl items. So like we're the ones who know what the one Emmy category it ever won in was. So when I saw her and I saw Milo, I'm like, if only Lauren Graham had been nominated. But her and Ann Dowd, I was so happy. She took Margot Martindale's spot.
They thought it was Margot Martindale. Let's be honest.
I know they don't like being compared, but I would love to see that buddy cop show she picked the two of them.
I think that would be fascinating.
I would so totally watch that. But if Ann Dowd doesn't win one of these Emmys, I'm mad.
I'm going to be
just
sick.
Give her one.
Yeah.
And submit the finale for The Handmaid's Tale because she was deliciously evil in that.
You know, I agree with Amanda. She took mine with it, which is okay but I had to stop and breathe when it was coming to those categories, and I was scrolling through the nominations. I'm like, oh, thank God, Ann Dowd. Thank God you did it.
I just did a search for her name.
Yeah, both. And also, I loved seeing Samira Wiley, and I really like.
What's the other one?
I'm so happy about Master of None, how it improved from last year. I think that is a masterpiece. I would love that to win everything, and I just love that so deeply. So that's the good. Let's go to the bad, because I've got quite a long list of my worst stuff. Zach.
Right off the bat in the top categories, The Americans and Transparent being left out of drama and comedy series. These are two of the best shows on television. Clearly, they didn't stop liking them. I mean, they got, I think collectively, they got more nominations than Modern Family did, and that got in for comedy series. So I'm really kind of surprised that Transparent was left off, since, I mean, still got in for Tambor and Judith Light and Catherine Hahn. The Americans, a little less surprising that it would get left off. There was just so much new stuff coming into Best Drama Series that it was probably like in 8th place for all we know. I could see that coming back next year. Where the hell is Michael Mckean for Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just really heartbreaking. Clearly they were watching this season and they liked this season. So Vince Gilligan, if you're watching this, please find a way to bring Michael Mckean back for season 4 of Better Call Saul, even if it's just in a guest spot. I mean, other things, it's kind of like the universe balanced out in some ways, like, for instance, Catherine Hahn not getting in for I Love Dick, but then getting in for Transparent. I mean, those were kind of nice little balancing out there. Or Brian Tyree Henry getting snubbed for Atlanta, but then getting in for This Is Us. It all kind of worked out in those ways.
It balances out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Tony.
Well, one of my ones that irritated me was Brian Tyree Henry being left off for Atlanta. Him in the Ban episode is one of the absolute funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And but for me, the one that really irritated me was the lack of Mary Elizabeth Winstead for Fargo.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
She really was the MVP of that show this season. And whatever problems the season had as a whole, she was phenomenal week in and week out. And I just think it was a little bit disappointing that they couldn't find room for her.
Mm-hmm. Amanda.
Vanessa Kirby. I really
yeah. That stinks.
If anyone deserved a nomination,
God, I forgot about her.
He was definitely one that deserved it for The Crown. That was my favorite show.
Yeah.
And then also, I love Thomas Middleditch. I think there are other people who should have gone before he did. And I hate to complain about Matt Walsh and Tony Hale because I love the two, but Timothy Simmons was really the MVP of this season of Veep. And if they were paying attention, they would have found the room for him.
Yeah.
But I really, there's not a lot I can complain about. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to see Gilmore Girls finally get in, or Lauren Graham, but
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, sure, I would have loved to see more for The Leftovers, but they finally did at least give me something. And I know Ann Dowd will at least show up and give a very heartfelt speech and thank Justin Theroux. And yeah,
You're so thoughtful. I'm very sad about The Leftovers. I really am. I know I should have never drank that Kool-Aid, but I just
or talked other people into following you down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. But I feel really bad for them. They deserve more. And when I didn't see Carrie Coon's name in actress, I thought, okay, this is not happening. And then I saw Evan Rachel Wood, and I knew what was going to happen.
And you know what? I think that might actually be Carrie Coon's best scenario for the limited series, because if there are people pissed off, vote for her.
Vote for her.
Because you know what? She's in a category with 5 people who have Emmys, Oscars, and everything else amongst them.
They got all that
She
stuff.
has never won anything.
No, and she's a complete and utter superstar. She's a superstar. I also was really disappointed for Bryce Dallas Howard and Gugu Mbatha-Raw. I just thought they would get their respective nominations for Black Mirror, which I think slightly underperformed, maybe. So yeah, they're the ones that I feel sad about. Look, I want to invite in the other guys. If you could start joining us, David, Matt, and Tom O'Brien. And while we're waiting for them, I just want a final thought from each of you. Zach, what another thought? We're going to do more of these later, but just while we're here and we're all excited.
Oh, final thought. Oh my God, I have so many of them. As much as we're proclaiming things like, this is the front runner, this is what's going to happen, we still got a few months to go before actual voting even starts. I mean, so nothing is set in stone yet, but there's a lot of really great surprises here. And as much as there are things that got left off that we can be upset about, I think that for the most part, everything that got in is pretty deserving. I mean, there's nothing that irritates me too much. There's a couple of things I would have replaced, but I won't go on record of saying what.
And Tony?
I as much as Veep looks unstoppable, I don't think we can totally count off Atlanta. Which I have a personal bias because it's my favorite show of the year. But
me too.
But especially with it doing so well, getting writing, directing, acting, Donald Glover is going to walk away with something. And I actually think he's a big threat to take down Jeffrey Tambor in Transparent. So I'm really, really I'm really excited to see what Atlanta does.
Amanda?
As many nominations as Fear did get, it didn't get a cinematography or an editing nomination, which I don't know how much of that we should read into, but Genius didn't get a writing nomination, but that's still one of those things that leaves me a little iffy. I would like a bottle of that nail polish if they know where I can get it. They're handing those out of whatever Joan Crawford wore. But I think this is kind of Silicon Valley's moment to try and win writing because they only have 1 nomination. Mm-hmm. They kind of canceled themselves out last year. So if they can do it, this is it. But they're going to have to take down Aziz Ansari, who won last year.
No, yeah, I want I really just want Aziz Ansari.
And look out for Ron Howard in directing for a limited series. Holy mother of...
Holy moly.
Poor Ryan Murphy. He's never going to win one of these with Ron Howard popping up.
Okay.
So it's not that poor Ryan Murphy. He already has 4, including directing already. So,
but he doesn't win individual ones though. They never award him individually.
Okay.
One time.
Bickering mom and dad. I need you 3, unfortunately, to leave us. I'm so sad to see you go. We'll do more of these because we've just been joined by Matt and Tom O'Brien, and we are also waiting for David Buchanan and Charles Bright. So, guys, if you want to head off, and we'll do another one of these maybe next week.
Hey, bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Hi, everybody. How are you all?
Very good.
Hi, guys. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Matt and I are both extremely tired because it's the middle of the morning here in Sydney. So I'm with David Buchanan, Matt Noble, and Tom O'Brien, and Charles Bright will be joining us in a sec. Guys, this is what we're going to do. I just want your first what was the first thing that came to mind? Tom?
No, Transparent.
Yeah.
In series. Wow.
Yeah, big time. And Matt?
It's funny, because they announced all the nominees for Best Comedy Series, and I was like, one's missing. and I couldn't remember. Like, I was going.
Oh,
I was like, I don't know which one's missing, and I had to like look at it for a minute or two. I think a great day for The Handmaid's Tale and Stranger Things and Westworld. That jumped out to me on the drama side, and then comedy side, it jumped out to me a great day for Veep, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Charles. David, let's go to you first. What was your first reaction?
First reaction, things seemed really stable on the comedy side, I think more so than we thought. But the drama side, we saw a lot of exciting upheaval, so that was great.
Yeah. Charles, hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. What was your first major reaction when you saw the nominations and you feasted on that beautiful, delicious dessert that we were given by the Academy?
I thought it was interesting, you know. Still you know, you'll see the Academy sometimes revert to things that are that may not belong in this category anymore. I'm talking about Modern Family, obviously, but overall, I thought it was interesting. I actually was thinking to myself, actually, like an hour before the nominations came out, because I was reviewing my nominations in the Prediction Center, and I was thinking to myself, Saturday Night Live could actually come out with the most nominations this morning, and what do you know? 22 nominations, it tied.
Wow, amazing!
Yeah,
I know. So,
I thought it was astounding. I thought that I was very surprised that The Crown underperformed the way it did. That I'm still processing and trying to assess what that means for the other races that it is actually up for.
Yeah,
and how comedy is just sort of like it's stuck right now. It's just stuck with, you know, certain nominees right now, and it astounded me that Veep was able to get 17 nominations, even more than last year, even though from what I've been able to gather from other reactions I've seen from other people who watched the show, that it was not a strong season.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is what I said to the other guys before. I think I'm going to make this call. A lot of them pretty much agreed with me. So I'm thinking Handmaid's Tale is going to win this, and I think The Night Of will probably win, and Veep has this. Because that was my first takeaway. And my other takeaway was, oh wow, Saturday Night Live and Westworld, you did much better than I expected. Vanessa Bayer, when I saw her name in the list, I thought, well, there you go.
Oh,
they really, really overperformed, and good on them. You know what? A lot of the nominations this year were like a big middle finger to the president and to your president, I should say. And yeah, you can see it all across the board with those Colbert nominations in special and all that stuff. So that's also quite exciting, and you can just imagine what's going to be said in the conservative media. They'll just be going completely bananas about how liberal Hollywood got it wrong and blah blah blah. So look, the next question I have for you guys is what what your favorite nomination? What was the one thing where you just had to stop and breathe and process it and take it in, put your hands in the air and just say hallelujah? Tom.
It's funny. Last night I did a final check and I swapped out Liev Schreiber because I thought he was going to be off. Shows you what I know. But a couple of weeks ago, I'd seen a kind of a crappy Jason Statham movie, and the bad guy in it was Milo Ventimiglia. Cool. And he was a sleaze. He was knocking women around, smoking big cigars, you know, shiny suits, you know, kind of like Donald Trump Jr. And I thought, this guy can really act. He's Jack on This Is Us. So I took a flyer on him at 80-1, and hey, it turned out, and boy, was I surprised.
That's awesome, Matt.
For me, there's probably like two sides to it. One is I was really pleased to see Stephen Colbert break in because he missed out last year for the show, so it's really nice to see him embraced by the Academy, even though it was largely expected since his ratings were up this year and his critical acclaim was up this year. It's nice to actually see him make it in. And I think on the other side, it was really nice to see, because there's so much focus on the shiny new things in drama series. It was nice to see Better Call Saul break through in writing and directing. I was like, oh, this is really good. I wasn't necessarily expecting it to get in both of those races.
Yeah, that was excuse me, that was really surprising. David.
I'd say, I mean, the ones that I really cared about aren't here, but the ones that I said, oh, that's kind of nice. I was happy to see Hugh Laurie finally break in for Veep.
Yeah.
His third try, finally, you know, in guest. I guess that was the key to getting him in. I hope he wins too. I was also happy for Jane Fonda. I thought she had a really good season on Grace and Frankie. And it's kind of hard when Lily gets nominated the first 2 years and she has to sit on the side. So for her to get in and finally, you know, be there with her co-star was nice.
And Charles,
I gotta say, probably the one for me that is made me the most happy was Laverne Cox actually getting in for drama guest actress.
So
I thought that was, and she's good. She's going to be a real threat to win in that one. She has some. She's very good. She was very good in that fourth season of Orange Is the New Black. She's also the only person who I believe the only person who I interviewed who got nominated this morning. So to everyone else, I apologize.
That's so cool. You know, I don't want to repeat myself because we've already gone over Ann Dowd, and that was a miracle. I think a lot of the voters thought Ann Dowd was Margot Martindale, and that's why they nominated her for the Leftovers. But I'm happy because I'm very upset and disappointed about Leftovers. We'll talk about that in a sec. I was happy about Ann Dowd. I was very happy about Better Call Saul making it in writing, directing. I agree with you, Matt. It was such a great thing for them because given that they had 1 billion submissions, as usual, the night of overperformed. Having Bill Camp in there is a big clue for us. I think that would be wonderful to see that win. And Samantha Bee is all over the place, as she deserves to be. You know, she's such a voice for the left and the liberal and the liberal elite, or whatever you call it, the bi-coastal, whatever the bloody hell it's called. So I'm very happy to see her there as well. And Milo Ventimiglia, seeing him there. Now we've got Milo Ventimiglia and Alexis Bledel nominated. Unfortunately, Lauren Graham was not able to join that and make it like a triumvirate, but I'm very happy to see those two Gilmore Girls alums make it in. Now, that leads me to this. This is even the more juicy stuff. What was the stuff that you hated or that you thought was a snub or just a really bad call that the Emmys made? Tom?
Oh, you know, it's still a decent show, but was to see Modern Family take up that spot. It could have gone to something more interesting. I was like, I don't begrudge Ty Burrell. He brings it every week. But that Best Series nomination just kind of galled at me. I don't have very many complaints, frankly. When I faced the writing ballot, the opportunity to do as many as I wanted, I just rebelled at that because I just didn't want to, have my passion votes be diluted with Modern Family votes or something like that. So I was kind of tickled in suspense through the entire time. And that to me was a wonderful feeling. And I thought there were very few really wincingly bad choices.
That's pretty good to say. Matt?
I think there's some great supporting and guest performances that missed out, and partly that's due to such a crowded field and crowded ballots. With 3 Saturday Night Live performances, sort of in the supporting actress category, it meant that there weren't really many places for people giving long form sort of performances over season length in comedy series. I think people missing out, like Ray Seahorn missing out on the drama side for Better Call Saul, and Michael Mckean as well from that show.
Definitely.
I think Peter McNichol missing out for his after getting his nomination revoked last year, and So there's many more names I could just throw out as well of just some really solid supporting performances and guest performances that were absent.
Yeah.
But Barb got him from Stranger Things.
No, cool. We found her. That's so cool. David?
Aside from those mentioned, I was obviously, everybody who knows me knows that I'm the biggest fan of The Good Fight. So to not see Baranski in there was really devastating. I didn't think she was going to get in, but I went out on a limb for her, and I'm sad about that. I'm also sad about no Mary Elizabeth Winstead for Fargo. Fargo did pretty well for a season that, people didn't love as much as the other two, and she definitely deserved to be in with her 3 other co-stars. So that was disappointing.
Yeah, Charlie.
Okay, let me see. Where do I start? Well, of course, with me, it's always with animated program. And the weird thing is, so when I first opened the nomination thing, the first category is the voiceover, and I saw Kristen Shaw got nominated. That's actually the one that I was most happy about. Kristen Shaw getting nominated for BoJack Horseman. And that made me so happy. And then I was deflated right in the next category when BoJack did not get nominated. They had the single best episode of television last year with the episode Fish Out of Water. It's not just great. It works on so many levels. And the fact that the Academy didn't reward it, they still went for almost the same thing they always go with, Bob's Burgers, Archer, South Park, The Simpsons, and something from the Disney Channel, which I'm not even going to dignify with a response. But
hey, I love the Disney Channel.
I'm sorry. It's just come on, Animation Branch. You need to get woke, okay? You need to get woke, Animation Branch.
Like everybody else is, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But also, no Winona Ryder, that blew my mind that she didn't get in. I thought she was so good in Stranger Things. I actually thought she was going to win. Yeah. Transparent losing out in comedy series, that stung a lot because I thought this season was fantastic. And like you said, Tom, just see Modern Family get into that slot. It was like, it was like, pouring alcohol on the wound, essentially. It was like, oh, come on. And then no Zach Woods in supporting actor for Silicon Valley. No MST3K for Variety sketch program. And also not in original song. They had a really great original song in their premiere episode about different monsters and folklore from different countries. And that should have been in for original song, but unfortunately it wasn't.
It wasn't. I agree about The Good Fight. I thought it would get something more than just the opening credit song, and so I'm disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed about The Leftovers. I drank that Kool-Aid, and unfortunately, that's probably why I had 72% in my predictions. No Catastrophe, apart from Carrie Fisher, was disappointing. No Bryce Dallas Howard, no Gugu Mbatha Raw. Directing in a comedy series was kind of boring to me a little. I was disappointed not to see Justina Machado from Monday at a Time.
Yep.
House of Cards, I'm not sure if that really has any business being in drama series this year. And even in Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright, who I really love, there was probably better stuff this season. I thought House of Cards really wasn't up to scratch personally. And Orange is the New Black underperformed for me. I thought that was such a strong and brilliant season. I'm very happy to see Uzo Aduba, though. I'm very happy to see Laverne Cox, but that should have done a bit better. And Winona Ryder really upset me too, even though Samira Wiley made it in, Millie Bobby Brown made it in. I mean, that's my favorite category. That's and Dowd, like really, that's the one that I care about the most this year. And finally, Lauren Graham. What on earth does she have to do to be nominated? I know that was a difficult category to break into, and thank God Carrie Coon made it in. Yeah. But Lauren Graham, man, like seriously, she must be at home right now, not totally that impressed that Milo and Alexis are nominated for Emmys and she is not.
Well, go on the Handmaid's Tale, like go on a drama series.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, be subjected to amazingly cruel treatment by men, and you're sure to win.
You're sure to win. But yeah, so look, some final thoughts would be great from you guys before we have to head off. We've only got 4 minutes. So Tom, final thought.
I think this is going to be a very exciting race, all night, in fact, because boy, with the new voting system, I was expecting crazy stuff, but not quite this crazy. But I think it's going to be a very interesting night, and I'm really happy to see the broom sweep clean most of the old guard, and we're not going to have a whole lot of repeats. And BBC America, a special raspberry to you for not putting the last season of Orphan Black into contention, because it would have been great to see Tatiana Maslany defend her crown one more time. And by 2018, Orphan Black is going to be as cold as yesterday's dog food.
Matt.
Look, yeah, it's. I think on the comedy side, you might see some repeats. You might see Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You might see Veep again. That show seems to have strengthened. I don't know. I've been accused of having Veep goggles, of being biased towards that show, and I know there's comments that pop up to that regard when we do these. But it got like more nominations than The Crown, this morning. He got more, yeah, like so, like regardless of my own thoughts on the show, I've always maintained that it is a show that the Academy are quite fond of, and the Academy do enjoy. And on the drama side, yeah, it's buck yourselves in. It's a big race. The Handmaid's Tale and Stranger Things, I'd say, are out front there. But other shows could win. Like, don't read too much into the nominations to make conclusive statements. I remember the year when Mandy Patinkin didn't get in for Homeland for season 1, and because of that, many pundits, including myself, thought, well, it probably won't win drama series now. It's an old show. It's underperformed. Therefore, it won't win drama series, and we shifted our attention to Breaking Bad and Mad Men pretty much that year. And you know what? Homeland then won. So you can underperform with nominations. You can miss out on 1 or 2 where we didn't expect you to get in. And I think finally I'd just say This Is Us. Like, did not, unsurprisingly to me, did not perform particularly well for a show that was going to win drama series.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a show that the Academy didn't have love for, and but they really respect it and like it, and since it's rating so well. But yeah, it can only win drama series now if votes split, and people say, oh well, they submitted too many episodes for directing, and they submitted too many episodes for writing. But like Better Call Saul submitted more episodes for writing, and it got nominated. So it's not like that was like, if they really wanted to nominate This Is Us in writing, there was only 5 to choose from.
Well,
we did.
Yeah, that's right. You would know as a voter.
Yeah.
David, final thought.
I've got 2. So I'm most excited maybe for the miniseries race because they all perform so well, and I could see 4 of them really winning. So I'm really excited about that. And then to go back to something somebody else had just said, I think we could see 4 repeats in the comedy acting categories. It's not likely, but it's possible. But none of the reigning drama series acting contenders are back in contention. So we'll have 4 new winners.
Yeah.
So we'll have 4 new winners. That's really exciting.
It's exciting. Charlie.
I'm just prepared for anything to happen in any of these categories. You know, Kate McKinnon, I'm worried about. You know, a lot of people were thinking that she'd be a safe thing even if Leslie Jones got in. But man, 2 other actresses from SNL in there, and you know, you also have Judith Light and an untested one, and Catherine Hahn getting in, a very beloved character on that show. You know, I'm very just excited for all of it, and I just can't wait for it. And I'm just going to throw darts at a board and consult my psychic.
And you'll win.
And she's going to tell me what to pick.
Well, I think all of that is stuff. You guys, really, really good final thoughts. Thank you so much for your time. My final thought is, given that The Handmaid's Tale, I think, will win Best Drama Series over This Is Us. Praise be and under his name.
Fruit of him